Hello and welcome to Food Tech 101. Now, I know, I've not done a video in ages, so I thought I'd just start back with something simple. I'm just gonna make a full English breakfast, vegan style. Now, what's interesting about a lot of meals, a lot of dishes we make, is that the origins of them often come from a reason. Now, today I'm gonna make a full English breakfast, a vegan style, and I'm just gonna use pretty much leftovers. And in particular, one particular thing I'm gonna show you how I make, is hash browns. And hash browns is a kind of dish which is designed to use up leftover cooked potato. Now, also in this video, I want you to hang about a bit, because later on in the video, I want to share with you some big changes. And I want to share with you also why I don't teach food anymore. So for my vegan breakfast, which I'm going to make this morning, I've got some mushrooms, some fried mushrooms. I've got, instead of scrambled eggs, I do eat eggs, but instead of scrambled eggs, I got some leftover scrambled tofu. I made that with some turmeric and some seasoning and some peppers. I've got some tiger bread. I've got some Richmond vegan sausages. They taste very, very realistically meat-like. And I've got some beans. These are our potatoes. Now, just to give you an idea of how I prepared these are just leftover potatoes. So the two potatoes that have been boiled previous day and they've been left to cool down. They could even have been cooked earlier on, but it's important that they've been left to completely cool down so they can become quite solid. So they're pre-cooked potatoes. Now, making our hash browns really couldn't be easier. I've started off with some grated cooked potato. So I had some cooked potato in the fridge from leftover. This is just two potatoes. Once you grate it, it looks massive, but they're literally just two potatoes. So I'm going to start off with the grated potato. In the grated potato, I've got just 2 teaspoonfuls of corn flour. It's going to help it bind. As a general rule, about a teaspoonful of corn flour per potato. So I'm going to put in the corn flour. And then after that, all I'm going to do is a little bit of salt, and I will put a little bit of pepper in, but I've actually run out for some reason. I don't know where the pepper is. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt. Just put as much salt in to taste as you like. And I've also got a little bit of chili, a tiny bit of chili left, so I'm going to put a tiny bit of heat, a bit of chili. I want it to stay fairly neutral, so I'm not going to, I could season it up with garlic and different things. In fact, that actually might be a nice idea. No, I'm going to leave this one kind of plain. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix the ingredients together. Just quickly bind them together. Now, you can make hash browns with cooked potato or from raw potato. When I looked into the various recipes, they seem to, depending on where you are, they seem to use a slightly different process. And they're very similar to, hash browns are very similar to potato rosties. And both can either be used with cooked potato or raw potato. These are using grated, cold, cooked potato. It's important that they're cold, otherwise when you try and grate them, they'll just mush up. So I've now integrated the flour and the salt and a little bit of chili. I'm going to go to the next stage. And here we have our 4 hash brown patties. Now they're fairly solidly packed. I put them on greasy paper to make it easy for them to move. But next thing we're going to do is we're just going to fry them off. Now I'm going to fry these last. So what I'm going to do is pretty much prepare all the other ingredients for my full English breakfast. And once we prepare the ingredients, we'll fry the hash browns last. We'll sit down, I'll have my breakfast, and I'll tell you about why I don't teach food anymore and what I'm doing now. So let's look forward to that. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. So I'm going to get it all nice and hot to begin with. And then I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. Give them a little move. Now I've made them at 2 different thicknesses. Let's see what difference that makes. Okay. So we're in. Okay, they've been cooking for a while. Let's give them a turn over. Let's see what we're looking at. Oh, that's a nice colour there. Oh, it's a nice colour. Flip these over. Oh, these are holding together really well. Oh, that's a good one. Very nice indeed. Okay, let's have a look. Oh my days. Now these look like they'll come out just about perfect. So I'm going to pop these on a plate and then put them in the oven to keep them warm. I'm not quite sure which are going to be nicer, the thick ones or the thin ones. Thin ones might be a bit crispier. Yeah. These look just about perfect. Look at that. Hash browns. Pretty much just potato, a few teaspoons of corn flour, a bit of salt for flavouring, and that's it. And here we have it, my finished full English vegan breakfast. So let's talk you through it. So we have, say grace first. Heavenly Father, thank you for this good food. Amen. So we have our mushrooms. Mushrooms. We have our vegan scrambled eggs, or tofu scrambled. This is a leftover meal. So some of the best dishes that we get are made from leftover ingredients. So this is, I did some tofu scramble for my wife yesterday. It's got tofu scrambled with some a little bit of oil, some turmeric, which gives it the colour, some onions, some peppers, seasoning, that kind of stuff. Very nice. We've got beans, we've got a bit of toast, our vegan sausages, give them a taste. Richmond's. They're well nice. And then, the star of the show is our hash brown. Now, you can see, nice and cooked all the way through, crisp on the outside. Just potato. That's all it is. Tiny bit of starch. So, what have I been doing since I stopped teaching food a few years ago? Well, one thing that's interesting about life is that as you go through life, you can do different things. One thing that someone told me years ago, which really stuck with me. Now and again you hear a bit of advice that somehow seems to resonate with where you were. I remember years and years ago, 30 years ago or so, when I was in my 20s, someone in my early 20s, someone said to me, David, and I was wondering what to do with my life, because I think I was working in one job and I was thinking, well, what's going to do? Someone said, you don't have to do just one thing. And some of that simple statement really has been almost a mantra for my life, and I've done lots of different things over the last 30 odd years of my working life. So now, I'm teaching again in the new school, teaching a different subject, design, computer science and business studies. But I'm also now an author. Yes, an author. Kind of crazy. If I can be an author, anyone can. So I'm now an author. I've written a book called I Want to Go to Yellow. This is the book. I'll show you now. Ooh. I Want to Go to Yellow. It's a fantasy fiction book, but it's a spiritual fantasy fiction book. So it's allegorical. So it's selling a fantasy story. It starts off in reality where Miles, a middle-aged man, he's working, he's a designer, a bit like me, I suppose, and he gets to a point in his life where he looks around and thinks, is this it? Is this what I've been working for my whole life? Is this it? He gets a little bit disillusioned, and as fate would have it, so to speak, that disillusionment leads him on a spiral. He ends up losing his job. He kind of wanted to lose his job because he wanted to change, but he didn't want to lose it quite like that. He ends up getting dismissed or sacked or made redundant, and then from that, his life really spirals down. His marriage starts to break up, and he gets drawn into this different dimension, another world, and there where the story really begins, where he's challenged in different ways. He has to face a lot of the mistakes and decisions he's made in the past. Some of the things that have terrified and traumatized his life become manifestations in front of him. He has to face that, and he gets challenged in different ways, and he's presented with different scenarios where he has to overcome. And the idea behind it is that as we're initially watching Miles, the character, go through this, and we're just excited about the story, gradually there's a transition starts to happen, also readers have said, whereby they're not just reading a book, but they become the main character as well, and they're responding. So we see the challenges Miles goes through. We wonder, well, how would I respond if I was going through the same challenge? There's a manifestation of fear as it presents itself in terms of some mistakes he's made in the past. But ultimately, there are two powerful forces competing for possession or control. Hi, Benji. Possession or control of his life. But who will he surrender to? Will he surrender? And to whom will he surrender? And that's a really interesting battle which we see unfolding there. So it's called I Want to Go to Yellow. And it's available as a paperback. It's available as a hardback. It's available as a Kindle. And it's also available as an audiobook. And it's available literally everywhere. You can grab it on Amazon, Spotify, Audible. If you're a school and you want to get some copies for schools, it's available through Ingram Smarts. So if libraries want to get hold of it, so it's literally available anywhere. And I'd really appreciate it, all you loyal guys who stuck with me all these years, is if you could just click a link in the on the video and just check it out. If it sounds interesting, then just share it to anybody. It'll make a great gift. But also, there's a lot in it. I think also, one of the things that I look at in the book is the original creativity. One of the things that sparked me was the idea behind when this is the idea. This is where the idea for the book came, for the title of the book came from. I want to go to yellow. I want to go to yellow. I was talking to one of my nephews. He's also a designer. He works for a bag company. Well, he's owns a bag company where they design tailor-made British bags. A company called Good Start Jones. He makes his bags called wood sacks. These cool sort of tailor-made rucksacks with like a piece of wood on the front. It's really, really cool designer bags that handmade by them themselves in Britain. So I was talking to my friend, my nephew Anderson, and something he said to me. He said he was watching some kind of video, and a little girl said to her father, "Daddy, I want to go to yellow." And Daddy said, "Well, sweetheart, you can't go to yellow because yellow's a colour, not a place." And he got me thinking the difference between how adults think and how children think. There's a limitless kind of possibility in the way children think, that at a certain point in life we lose that belief that we can be anything and we can do anything, and it starts to be replaced with how life really is. And that was the starting point behind the book. The exploring, initially looking at my own life, exploring lost creativity, the creativity I had as a child, and at some point that creativity left. There was one particular incident that really was a catalyst for the book. When I was younger, I remember drawing some pictures in an old church hymnal. As a child, these scenes, these buildings, and someone's shooting something down from a building, and creatures and things, and it's a tremendous scene, like a landscape with fighting and different things, and a bit naughty, but to draw it in the back of a hymnal. But even so, I remember finding that same hymnal like a few years later, and looking at the drawing and wondering, how did I ever think like that, to create a drawing like that? I couldn't even imagine thinking like that anymore. Never mind the creativity it took to produce it. I couldn't even access that same kind of mindset, because over the years I'd replaced that carefree anything can be anything with things must be done a certain way. And there's a certain point, and I see it as a teacher, where a child comes in with a tremendous enthusiasm, but over time maybe they get knocked back here and there, they start to lose that. So I explore that as well. At what point does that creativity start to disappear, and how? There's an incident in the book where I try and unpackage the idea of where creativity starts to get lost. So there's a lot of things in the book, and the idea is that he goes to different worlds, and then each thing he goes through, he learns something from it. And I think that the things he learns from it are things which ultimately can teach something about our lives as well. So, thank you very much. This is the book, I Want to Go to Yellow. I'll leave a link in the video, or maybe I'll try and put those links up there. Thanks for, guys, I really appreciate all you subscribers. We've got over 30,000 subscribers, and even those years when I wasn't posting, you still kept on clicking the videos. A lot of you were clicking that Rice Krispies video, which has had over 1.2 million views. And I thank you for sticking with me so long. So now, I'll still be posting some more videos, but it'd be nice if you followed me on a parallel journey in a parallel universe. I want to go to the universe of yellow. So check out the link in the bio, and thanks for watching a video how to make hash browns over a bit of leftover potato. My name is Mr. Liburd, but you can call me sir. Have yourself a great day.
Of things we know.